What do you think is a reasonable expectation of someone's workday, if they're wanting to work in public accounting, in litigation support, forensic accounting? Like, what are some reasonable expectations or things that maybe they would want to consider? Because we talk about this at our office too, that sometimes there's just this, oh, it would be cool to be a forensic accountant. And so
Yeah.
this idea versus this is what it really looks like. What are some of your what have you noticed?
Yeah, so I would say obviously it does depend on the firm. So make sure that you're thinking about what kind of work you want to do, and what you want your work life to look like. Um, but I would say to make sure that you're comfortable with messy data. I mean, we don't get a complete picture. We have messy, incomplete data. So be comfortable cleaning that and getting it into a format compatible with analyzing it. So sometimes it's manual data entry, learning software. As you know, I mean, through the discovery process, we'll just receive huge data dumps of hundreds or thousands of pages worth of documents. And so, you have to be ready to look at all of those files and categorize them. What's needed, what's not needed. Um, how do we analyze this? It's you really got to be able to get into the weeds and not get lost.
Yep. Because of that budget constraint too. Like,
Correct. Yeah.
how are you going to create the most bang for somebody's buck?
Yeah.
But then there's all this mess too, and like ferreting through that.
And it's a communication thing too with the client. I'm working some cases right now, and client will just keep sending me stuff, and I'm like, okay, let's talk about this. What are you really wanting here? Because I can spend another 10, 15 hours going through all this stuff, and you may not get anything from this. So let's make sure that we're getting you what you want. And it's a communication thing as well, just making sure that you're comfortable having those talks with clients. So
Yeah, which is a big difference from working at the bureau.
yeah,
Because you didn't have to talk to, there wasn't this
and as an
client
intern, I
conversations.
definitely didn't talk to.
Yeah. But even as a forensic accountant, that's not, unless they like do some interviews with the agents or whatever,
Yeah,
like it's not, um, yeah, you're not having to have those kind of conversations.
yeah.
So yeah, I get that. So what education or experience would you recommend to either someone, who's going to be graduating soon, or I guess graduations are actually happening the weekend we're recording this, but or if they, maybe just want to make a career change and get into forensic accounting and litigation support?
So this one's a little tough for me to answer because I was fortunate to land a role right out of college, and I owe a huge portion of that to the partner that leads our group, Clay. Clay Glasgow. He saw a lot of potential in me early on, and just kind of put a lot of trust and faith in me to go into this role. It's a lot more responsibility than a typical staff position, I would say. We don't have prior year work papers usually to refer back to, and so I would say, experience wise, obviously, you need to get your a degree in accounting most likely. I mean, a lot of forensic accountants aren't CPAs, but um, attorneys are going to just look at your credentials and what you're qualified for, and the CPA is an easy way to just check off a box for them to say, okay, well, they're a CPA, so they have these certain standards that they have to adhere to. So I would say go for your CPA license. Um, And so whether you get your master's or you just take enough undergrad credits, either way. And I would say that if you're working for a public firm right now and you are truly interested in forensic accounting, if you're truly interested in forensic accounting, then make sure you're communicating that with the people you're working with, and letting them know if they have a forensics group. Make sure that they're aware that you have that interest, because there are times when we need to go pull someone from another group and say, hey, can you help us out on this? And it would be helpful, if we know that someone already has an interest, go ahead and kind of let them test the waters. And then if we end up with an opening, we already know that this person works well with us, they have an interest in it, and things like that. So I would just make sure that you're communicating that with the right people. um,
Yeah, I really love that suggestion because one of my team and I were talking about how there were some people in our in previous work experiences that apparently really wanted to do this work, but they'd never told anyone.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, you got to tell people so they know. And I mean, 3 months into my job in public accounting, and I was working tax, and I remember they asked me, like, what do you want to do here or whatever? And I said, I think forensic accounting could be cool to do. Like, here's how I think that you could generate revenue from doing this. And they were like, okay. So then the next case that came in,
Yeah.
instead of referring it out, they were like, hey, Leah, you want to take a stab at this? So
Mhm.
yeah, definitely communicating that.
And I would say, like you just said, make sure that you're clear, not just that it's something that you may kind of be interested in, but that it's something that you want to do.
Hmm.
Because otherwise, that does matter.
Yeah.
How you present your interest. And then again, if you're in college right now, look for those opportunities. There are a lot of firms that have internship opportunities in forensics that people don't even know about. Um, and I was determined to go straight into a role in forensics. I mean, as a senior, I was I knew that's what I wanted to do, so I wasn't going to settle for other positions if I didn't have to. So I really had to seek that out.
Yeah, and I would also add, as an employer, I had someone who asked me, like, I don't typically hire forensic accounting interns anymore. I used to, but I had someone who was really insistent about it and like made just this amazing case for why I should hire them as a forensic accountant. And I said, okay, great. Here's our forensic accounting manager's card, send her your resume. And they never sent her their resume. So when you have an opportunity like that, send someone your resume. And if you don't have a
Definitely.
resume, make one. Like, come on, there's templates everywhere online. But just like that little bit of follow through,
Yeah.
I mean, this person would have had and I don't give forensic accounting internships. So marketing internships, but not forensic accounting internships. So anyway, just that like little extra. Um,
Yeah.
it's real simple, but it's very important because I mean, as an employer, I need to know that you're serious about this. So I need you or, whoever the student is to take that first step to show me that they're serious because I'm not going to seek you out. I'm
Yeah,
I'm too
for sure.
busy, my forensic accounting manager's too busy. We are not gonna seek out, people like you have to be specific, and anyway, lots of I could go on a whole rant there, but I'm gonna stop myself. I'm gonna
But
stop.
you make a great point. I mean, that's how it is. I mean, there are all kinds of people that say that, oh, they want to do something, and then they don't put in the small amount of effort that it would take to actually do that. Because how I actually found out about Hogan Taylor was a connection within the bureau. It was, oh, hey, you're graduating soon. Here is a firm, and it was just, here's the recruiter's contact information. So I emailed the recruiter and was like, hey, I want to work in your forensics group. I
Right,
mean, and so then they had an internship in the advisory group, and that's how I got in. I mean, that follow through matters.
it does. It says a lot and, makes the employer feel confident about, taking a chance on this person.